Hi everybody, it's me again. I want to talk to you now about the importance of completing application forms. I've decided the wobbly screen shall be no more on these, and I shall be talking to you with the camera front facing. I did use the camera on my iPhone because it was a better camera than that in my computer and my tablet computer thing. So I'm now you've got the real me, so to speak. So you can either put it on the audio only, or you'll have to stick me for the next 4 or 5 minutes. I want to talk to you about application forms and how it's really, really important to get a system in place to complete these. Now, when I talk to you in the last sort of top tips, the thing was about getting your CV done. Your CV is the basis of what you're going to put into any application form in terms of the main bits of information about you in the correct order. So you'll have all that to hand, and generally nowadays the application forms you'll fill in as an electronic document, hopefully not a PDF form, but hopefully in a Word or a open document source format, something that you can type directly in from your computer. And here's another little tip for you. Set up your own file for each section of the application form in case some massive glitch happens and you lose it, and then you only need to go back and copy paste it back into that application form. Again, read their instructions. The instructions about the amount of pages that you can use for your response. Very often they only want you to use the space that they provide, and there's no point in putting your text size down to about a 0.7 or a 0.8, because it'll probably stipulate too that it's maybe Arial 11 or Verdana 11 or some other of the more sort of popular fonts that are easy to photocopy. If you look at Arial, it's really easy to photocopy and easy to read. So whatever you put in there, it has to be legible. You have to be able to read it, and read it quite easily. With the content information, your name and address, your qualifications, your work experience and work history or whatever that is, all of that will be on the application form. They may ask you questions about specific things. Say, for example, they could ask you questions about can you explain gaps in your employment or whatever. Some of the jobs may require you to have access NI checks and things like that, and others will want to have the disclosure of convictions. The disclosure of convictions form needs to be submitted, but again, they should be providing a different email address for that, or a different format for sending that back. Again, if you need any help with any of that, get on to James, get on to us on the numbers that I've given you on that there. Now here's a few important things to remember as well too. If you don't read the instructions in the application form, it's very likely that you won't be giving them the information in the way that they require. That employer wants to get that information in a format that will be easy for them to discern whether or not you meet the essential and or the desirable criteria for the post. Some of them may be just process. In other words, you put in where you've worked and all of that, and they'll check that out themselves. Some may ask why you want the job, and some may be competence based. And by that I mean they may ask you in one section of the application form to give examples from your own experience, how you meet the criteria, the essential criteria of the job. And the easiest way to do that is to look at those essential criteria, list them, put them into that section, and then give an example from your own experience, not where you helped out or whatever you did, what you did that actually demonstrates that you have the ability to fulfill that essential criteria on the application form. Now, it can be a bit daunting at times too, because not all of us are used to that type of format, but very often that's the section in the application form that they're going to use to decide whether or not they shortlist you for interview. So if you have your CV done with all your backup information that you need to put in, there's nothing to stop you spending quite a bit of time and making sure that you get that important section of that application form in. You need to look at things like the closing date, what you put in the subject of the email that you're sending that back as an attachment with, and also follow any instructions as to how this, as to how it has to be completed and how it has to be submitted. Again, those of us that are doing these all the time, or helping people to do them all the time, we're really geared up to that. It's a bit like riding a bike. If you haven't ridden one for a long time, sometimes you can be a bit shaky at the start. So this is really to try and help those folks that maybe are a little bit shaky and need a little bit more help. There's nothing better than that one-to-one support. So I would urge you and suggest that you contact James and you speak to one of our mentors who can take you through the process in a much, or probably a more coherent way than I am doing. And I'm really here just to try and encourage people to not to be afraid to believe in themselves, but also to know that there is other help out there from James and from other organisations as well. So until next time, bye for now.